endemic, and this is part of that as well. We see a whole lot of anxiety during this time.
What would be your definition of anxiety? Let's start there.
Well, anxiety is a condition where, to kind of understand it better, your body is in fight or flight mode. And so your body senses a threat and starts to mount a response to that threat, and creates symptoms and things that would go along with you, for instance, running from a tiger, but there's no tiger, so essentially, but it's considered a mental condition. It's a formal diagnosis. A lot of people suffer with it, but a lot of people just describe it as feeling uneasy or nervous. It may come out as anger in some people, more so men. It can look like just shaking, sweating can be a sign of anxiety. So there's many ways that it presents itself. Some people actually withdraw and feel more, like not being around people is kind of an avoidance thing. So there's a lot of different ways that it can show itself. But that's pretty much what it looks like.
How would you, being a medical doctor, say the best way to do it without medicine? Is that easy? Or is that like
without medicine?
Yeah, without medicine.
Yeah, it's funny. I get that a lot. People are starting to get to where they really don't want to take medications, and I totally understand that and am in line with that. Medicines are miracles. There's a lot of things people would have died from had they not had medication, so I don't take that lightly. But there is a lot of ways to deal with anxiety because it's a natural response to a perceived threat. So a lot of times we don't complete that cycle. We kind of just feel anxious and then we try to move on, or even worse, we try to suppress it. And so trying to work through that anxiety is the best way to deal with it. Ignoring it does not work. Trying to pretend it didn't happen doesn't work. And a lot of times the thing that made us anxious to begin with lingers with us for years and years and years. So it's really about the day-to-day, changing how you treat your body and how you treat your mind, and what kind of things you allow in that changes the anxiety. So I created kind of a mnemonic for it called REST, and that's REST, of course. And the main part of that is figuring out ways that you can kind of like click through these things and kind of change how you treat your body in regards to anxiety. And so the first one is the R for restore or recreate. So we think about, recreational as like, a gym or something like that. Well, right now, nobody can go to the gym. I mean, people are starting to go back, but people are nervous about going. So exercising, kind of doing some type of activity that you enjoy. I tell people with small kids like my son, if you go out and play with them for 15 minutes, I assure you your mind will be off of whatever is going on because you have to try to keep up with them. But restoration too, things like meditation, whatever makes you feel better, makes you feel calm, can be very helpful. Eating is a big one. A lot of people don't think about the foods that they put in their body. So when we eat, we think we'll just get whatever's available or, whatever is convenient. But in this time with this much anxiety, it's so important that we eat foods that feed and that restore our bodies, that nourish our bodies. So we have this epidemic of chronic disease because a lot of people are eating foods and eating a lot of foods, but not foods that give them nutrition. So even though there's obesity and there's all these diseases, people actually lack the nutrients that they need. And so eating a very colorful diet, lots of vegetables, some fruits, having meat, but as a side dish instead of as a main course. Most of your plate should be veggies or plants. And just trying to avoid refined carbohydrates, processed foods, packaged foods, all the cookies and cakes and chips and all that stuff actually can increase anxiety. Sleep is super important. That's the S. So 7 to 8 hours a night. Trying to make sure that you create an environment for sleep. So we've got to turn off the news. I know it's hard right now. Turn off the news. Watch what we're taking in, making sure that you avoid caffeine after noon, which a lot of people kind of react to that. But if you drink caffeine at all and you're anxious, it makes things worse. But if you drink it really late in the day, I have some too. So If you drink it really late in the day, it can disrupt your sleep. Even though you might be able to sleep with it, your body just isn't getting that restful sleep that it needs. And when you do that, I heard you mention that on your post from yesterday, the cortisol level goes up, and that creates a whole other, cascade of problems. So you want to make sure you're prioritizing your sleep. And then the T is for talk, talking to friends, socializing. We can't do a lot of like parties and things right now, but I think just being with people that you trust, having, Zoom meetings with friends. People do like Zoom happy hours. I think people are very intuitive with that. It's also important to get counseling. I think in our community, it's kind of a taboo subject, but talking to someone that's a third party, that's not your family, that's not your friends, is also important, because your friends and family have a vested interest in you. They love you. They want the best for you. So they are also stressed by you being stressed. So it's okay to talk to each other, but you want to have that person that can talk you through some things. And counselors can be amazing. There's all kinds of different types of counselors. They work with different groups of people. They can do individual, they can do family counseling, whatever you need. There's a lot of them that do coaching in a sense. So they can talk you through like a life transition, or if you have to change jobs because of the pandemic, whatever that might be. Coaching and counseling is very important. It also stops you from recurring, going through those thoughts over and over again. A lot of times we think about, things that are bothering us over and over and over, especially right now where, you're thinking about the election, you turn on the TV, you look at your phone. I mean, it's everywhere. But just being able to talk those things out can take it off your plate. Anything we don't talk out or we don't release just keeps playing over and over and over in our heads. So those are some really good ways to affect anxiety without medicine. What I will say about medicine is if you feel you need medicine, don't feel like that's a problem, but it shouldn't be a permanent solution, because you still have to work on these root cause, the root of your problem. You still have to work on the underlying reasons for your anxiety. So the medicine can help you, but it won't solve the problem long term necessarily. So that's a good way to think of it, is that if you do take medicine, also do these other activities and things as well.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And it's rest. One more time, real
Rest.
quick. R-E-S-T. Say which each letter is for. R.
Rest is R is restore and recreate.
E.
E is eat. So eat real food.
Okay.
Sleep for sleep. And T is for talk.
And T is for talk. All right. I love it. Now, since I have you on here, I got to bring it up. And Nick and I was talking, I don't know, so it actually seemed like every week that we come on, we were talking about the immunization, the COVID immunization. What's your thoughts on that?
I always tell people I have personal and professional thoughts. So with this one, though, I think they're in line. I think that if it comes out and it is FDA approved, it should be okay to take. It should be a personal decision. We definitely encourage everybody to get vaccinated that will, because it helps us individually and it helps the community. But at the same time, there are things about certain vaccines that can be problematic for some people. And so you have to always consider your personal medical problems and allergies and things like that with vaccines. With the COVID-19 vaccine, though, they still have not come up with one that has been approved. And so until it's approved, they won't release it. If they were to release it without approval, that would be a big problem. And of course, we're in an environment with a president that may or may not allow that. So that's something to be concerned about. I totally understand why people are concerned about that and other vaccines because of some of the things that have gone on with that. But I think that I would say that my employer does require the flu vaccine, but they are not requiring the COVID vaccine, even if it's approved, because it's just one of those things where they want you to be able to, they want you to take it if you're comfortable with it. Now that could change, but I was really happy with that decision too. Yeah.
That is good, because I read where they had 34 Indians by August or September of next year, that's who they're going to inoculate to see if it works or not. But the first people that they're saying that is to receive, I'm using these air quotes for the listening audience that's on there, to receive the doggone COVID vaccine, It's healthcare workers, healthcare professionals. I was like, oh, that's not going to work for me. I'm done with that. They'll get the first one. Then they said the frontline workers. So they wanted the frontline workers on, and then senior citizens, and then the special category. I guess your people with chronic care illnesses. That's an issue for me. Why would you want to listen? This is my views are not the views of the guests on Shop Talk with Mel. Let me clear that up. But why would you potentially kill the people that's helping the people?
Right. Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Now, when you were saying like the flu vaccine, and they do have it, people with the chronic care illness, I want to say this. This year I read where they said that there's 4 included in this one vaccine. According to the CDC, they said there was 4 included. So you have your the H1N1 is covered, the H1N1, that's the Hawaiian one, the H3N2, which Hong Kong, I know people are like, I'm tired of these people over here, but that's how we got the COVID. But listen, the views and what I say, it is not a reflection of Dr. Kamilah Marie. All right, so I want you guys to I want to let you know that Hep B, they said Washington, and another Hep B, which is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, is Yamagata or something, but the way it's spelled is P-H-U-K-E-T. Now, if you write that down, right, Nick caught it. I don't want to say it because y'all know I'm not a cursor, but that's included.
That's how they're spelling it.
Listen, it's P-H-U-K-E-T. That's how I feel about it, but I ain't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Doctor. Dr. Kamilah. Wait, let Dr. Kamilah go ahead and expound on that. Go ahead.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
No, I'm like, how do you feel about like the flu vaccine? They said now that you have to have the flu vaccine, and that's for your chronic care, your chronic care patients, your people that are immunocompromised or more at risk. Now they have it where they strongly encourage. Are you able to? We talked about last week as far as like certain jobs, like it's either you get it or you can't work.
Right.
What about the people? And I understand if they have an egg allergy, they can't get it. But is there any other outlets or way outs? How about that? Not an outlet, a let out, where you don't have to get the flu vaccine, even though you strongly encourage it. Let me put that out there. Go ahead. Did you get it, or did I lose you? Okay, she's froze right now for the listening audience. I want you guys.
A neurological condition. Can you hear me?
Now I can. Go ahead.
Okay. There's a condition called Guillain-Barré syndrome that can come from certain vaccines. Is associated with the flu vaccine. It's very rare, but it can be neurologically devastating. And so that particular, if somebody's had that before, they are not recommended to have it. Some immunocompromised patients are told not to have it, but I found that to be kind of depends on their specialist, recommendations. So certain people on certain medicines for like rheumatologic conditions, rheumatoid arthritis, things like that, sometimes are recommended not to get it at certain times. That may also happen with cancer patients, but in general, most people can take it. It is not something that we routinely tell people not to take. And we actually have a intake form when we give them that kind of goes over those problems. And if there's anything that flags, then they ask us before giving it, of course. But yeah, most people tolerate it pretty well. There are people that report reacting to the flu vaccine. And there's a lot of different reasons and theories behind that. Some of which is, that they may have already been sick when they got it, or that their body is reacting to the threat of a virus. And so it's mounting that response. So when you get sick with the flu or a cold, the symptoms you get are from your body's reaction to that virus. It's not necessarily, it's the same thing with COVID. It's not necessarily that the virus is causing those things directly, which is a concept that a lot of people don't miss if you're not in the medical community. So I think that, that's probably what's happening when people react to flu vaccines. But what I tell my patients is, if they say, oh, I had a really bad reaction to it, I don't push it with them too much, because if they get that, or if I push them to get that and then get sick again, then it's just a bad experience, you know? So I do try to encourage everybody to get it, but sometimes it's one of those things where people are like, well, what do you say? I'm like, my recommendation is that you get it, but if you really are against it, then you have to do what's right for you.
Okay, for the listening audience that are just joining in, our guest today is Dr. Kamilah Marie, and she has a podcast, and it's called Pivot and Bloom. And what she does, she's a physician, she's a mom, and she's a podcaster. Welcome to the world of podcasting. All right, her purpose is to provide her tribe with health literacy to rebuild their temples. Understand, rebuild their temples, meaning your temple was already built. But if you have some issues, this is where you want to go. So her podcast, again, is called Pivot and Bloom, and her motto is change, flourish, repeat. All right. So, and I say Dr. Mimi. I'm like, Dr. Mimi. Hey, listen, you spoke about Gillian's
everybody
beret.
in the
Do they? Everybody got you? Gillian's beret, when you were speaking about Gillian's beret disease, which is from the flu vaccine, or has been linked, let's put it that way. Look, so nobody come try to get me because I ain't got nothing. But knowledge. If you don't want to end up, for my listening audience, if you don't want to end up in an entanglement, Nick laughing, because in case you guys didn't know, August Alsino has been diagnosed with that, and that's what he was talking about. And he said that Jada and Will had helped him with that, and him and Jada end up in an entanglement. Okay, so if you don't want to end up in an entanglement, I'm just being facetious. Okay. You might want to look into the information, educate yourself prior to going. If you have a child, because the medical field recommend that you vaccinate your children. So if you have a child and if you and they are to be vaccinated, please educate yourself first, because I understand, and I have two. They're grown now, but I remember going into the office and they give you so much information at one time. They're like, okay, here's all the paperwork, it's stacked up. Meanwhile, it's like, okay, I need to make a decision. What am I going to do? Do I have time to read all of this? No, I don't. So do it prior to going in to get your child vaccinated. I think, like, especially on some of them, like she said, it's very slim. I think that they should. And I'll share an incident that I had where it was some people that I know, they didn't believe in vaccinations. However, she would send her children to school. Okay. And then now her children is infected, and now you're upset. Problem. And then you send your children to school with the chicken pox and tell them, just don't stay away from everybody and keep your arms covered. Huh?
Oh my.
What are we doing here? It's like, okay, that's a double-edged sword. Like, what are we doing? What would you say to that individual? Because I know she's listening.
Yeah.
What would you say to that individual?
Oh, the person that doesn't want to vaccinate?
They don't want to vaccinate their children. Meanwhile, they want to be upset when their children what would be your recommendation for that if they're upset that their children are around all these people and then their children end up sick and they had an opportunity to be vaccinated, but they refuse to do it? What would your recommendation be on that?
Yeah, I tell them just that, that vaccinations help you, but they help everyone else as well. So when your child is not vaccinated, they're at increased risk. So like, for instance, with COVID, we don't generally take patients that won't vaccinate in our practice. My child's pediatrician does not either, for that very reason, because if somebody comes in with a small baby or an elderly person, someone with a compromised immune system, then they are at risk for getting something that they would not have been at risk for. Now, if they have their vaccines, the risk is lower, but there's just still that, you know, they had that outbreak of measles at Disneyland at one point because of that. And so I usually just tell them, you know, hey, this is something that we require. You know, they shouldn't be able to go to school really with that, but some daycares and things may allow that. And so, or like the daycare at church and things like that, your child is being exposed to someone else. And so it's such a big problem that I just tell them, you know, look, this is why we recommend vaccinating. You know, it eliminates some certain illnesses, but it also saves lives because there are conditions that we've eliminated, you know, deadly conditions we've eliminated by vaccinating the masses. So that's what I tell them.
Okay. Let me go ahead and let the lovely people know who today's show is being sponsored by.
Short and sassy, biting thighs, very tight, grasping eyes, long and slinky step with grace, much elegance of magnificent taste. This segment has been brought to you by 5 Grands Boutique, 164 High Street, Northeast, Warren, Ohio, 44481. Their telephone number is 330-394-5000. And don't forget to check out their website at shop5grandsboutique.com. Again, that website is shop5grandsboutique.com.
All right, that's 5 Grands Boutique. Thank you very much for sponsoring today's show. Nick, did you have any questions for Dr. Mimi? Everybody gonna be like, Dr. Mimi, Dr. Mimi.
More or less with well, she already covered it, like with people with rheumatoid arthritis, because I know I've had several things against me, like with the diabetes, with depression and anxiety, rheumatoid arthritis. They would always ask me if I wanted the flu shot, and I rarely would get it. Mm-hmm. But the few times I did, that was really the only time I got sick is when I got the vaccine. Now, if I didn't get the vaccine, I was able to avoid the flu that whole entire, you know, winter season.
Yeah.
So should I just keep with my same routine, or should I just, especially with what's going on now, because I'm compromised either way you see it.
Yeah. Yeah. We still recommend it for people with those conditions because the risk is higher of you getting really sick with it. Okay. It depends on the illness that you had. Like, were you sick for, you know, a week or two with like classic flu symptoms, or was it, you know, just didn't feel good for a couple days? What happened with it?
About a week or two. And with me, it seems like afterward, because I know now, like if I even get a common cold, I'll cough for months afterwards. And so right now it's kind of hard with the COVID because I'm at work and I just caught a cold this week. I'm at work and I'm coughing. Everybody looking at me like this. Like, no, you ain't worried on that. It's not the COVID. I just got a common cold. But that's all. I've always done that for some reason. I don't know if that's associated with me because I quit smoking 2 years ago. Thank God.
Oh, congratulations.
It's been 2 years. But I'm thinking, is that associated with me having cough? Because I will cough for like literally 2 months after I have a cold or the flu or something like that. Or, you know, last year around this time I got bronchitis. So is that associated with that, with me coughing for like 2 months afterwards?
I think it's a lot of things. The fact that you have a few different medical conditions indicates that there's something going on in your body anyway. And a lot of times we think these things are just random or genetic or things like that, but our environment plays a role in how those genes express themselves. And so a lot of those chronic conditions come out when we're exposed to certain things. A lot of it is found in our nutrition, but you also can find it in things like, you know, our activity level, our childhood traumas, you know, anything we've gone through, they all play a role. And so a lot of those types of things kind of make that worse and make your immune system less able to function at its optimal level, like it would if you were not dealing with those problems. So that's probably why you have extended symptoms when you do get sick, because your body's having a hard time eliminating it. As far as the flu shot causing that, I don't think it does. I'm not, you know, we've not seen any evidence of that, but I have had people say that they have a classic flu type thing that lasts for a week or two like the flu does. And there's just not a lot out there about why that is, you know. And so that's when I say it's understandable why people are nervous. I totally understand that, because I would be like, okay, I was fine until I got that shot. So I get that too.
Okay,
thank you.
Okay, I want to include the listening audience that are actually in. We have someone from Alaska.
Okay.
They said, thank you, Dr. Mimi.
Oh, wow.
They said, I need to know. They just took the emergency COVID test at the airport. So, and they also took the flu shot. So thank you for that. Child care provider, she has a daycare, she says, and she's speaking to the children who won't be inoculated, or, you know, parents refuse them inoculation. Yeah. And she said, no, thank you, keep them home. So she'd rather you just keep them at home. I don't need the money, keep them home.
Yeah.
So I thank the listening audience. You guys that are just tuning in, I just started another podcast on Spreaker.com. So check your girl out. We doing it big, blessed in the city. Okay, and all over. So if you guys are interested, it's Spreaker.com/ShopTalkWithMel. You can find me on your favorite podcast under Let's Shop Talk. Today's guest is Dr. Kamilah Marie, and she has a podcast as well. So make sure you check her out. It's called Pivot and Bloom. Pivot and Bloom on your favorite podcast. Okay, so you can find the doctor, the physician. She is a physician. I'm gonna say it again, physician, not a Dr. Wendy from the Real Housewives of Potomac. Okay, not a PhD. Not that I'm slighting you guys. I'm talking about a medical doctor. We have a medical doctor on the Shop Talk with Mel show telling you about anxiety, and she used the acronym REST, R-E-S-T, and she focuses on that, which is really great knowledge. Again, the R stands for, go ahead, I'm waiting on you.
Restore and recreate.
The E?
Restore and recreate.
Okay, what's the E for?
Eat real food.
Real food.
Eat real food.
Okay, real food, not your fast food. I'm knocking them because they didn't sponsor and they ain't seen no advertisement. So yes, real food, cooking food too, okay? And the S is for?
Yes. Sleep.
The S is for sleep.
Adequate sleep.
You have to get sleep. Not restless sleep. She said, don't drink coffee after 12, so don't do that, okay? And then the T is for?
Talk
to people. Now, you did mention as far as like your family, because they have an invested interest, like you said. I'll piggyback off of that. Some people can't talk to their family because of that reason.
Right.
So talk to someone. We have social media outlets. Oh, again, like me on all social, Shop Talk with Mel. You have, I gotta do it. You have so many social media outlets, but you have to be careful with that. And I'm adding this because there are some trollers out there. There's trollers out there that for some unknown reason like to dampen somebody else's sunny day, you know, dampen their sunlight. And look at Nick, you know, right, Nick?
Yes.
They deliberately come to kind of just like shut everybody down. And I'm like, come on, miserable soul. Let's lift people up. Let's use the platform for something positive. And on that note, I want to tell you what Pivot and Bloom, if you are just joining in, podcast is about. The purpose is to provide a tribe with health literacy to rebuild your temple, okay? Rebuild your temple. And her motto is change, flourish, repeat. Change, flourish, repeat. Say it with me. Change, flourish, repeat. All right, and that is Pivot and Bloom. Thank you so much, Dr. Kamilah Marie, Dr. Mimi.
Welcome.
For coming on Shop Talk with Mel. And I know you are busy and not a lot of time, but I appreciate it. And again, you can, on your favorite podcast channel, just look up Pivot and Bloom. Pivot and Bloom. Pivot. What's pivot? You know how to pivot. Okay. Pivot and bloom. Turn it around. Make it work for you. Rebuild your tempo.
Right.
Let's see. Okay, there's somebody that did say this. I want to put this, say this to you. So kudos to you, Dr. Mimi. She said she went down about 10 cups a day, down to 2 cups. 10 cups of coffee a day.
Wow.
That's what
that's a lot.
that's what I said. I'm like, hold on. Look, I'm like a roller coaster. I'm like, hold on.
Does she get any sleep at all?
Right. Did you get any sleep? I love my listeners. I do. I love you guys and keep them coming. And we gonna finish shop talking, and I'm gonna let you go. And thanks again. What's your email address if somebody else has questions or need direction?
Thank you.
How do they join yours? Go ahead. What's your email address?
It's Pivot and Bloom. So Pivot and Bloom, PIVOTANDBLOOM.gmail.com.
All right. So if you have questions or you want to listen to her podcast, like I said, your favorite podcast channel, just look for Pivot and Bloom. All right. Thank you, Dr. Mimi, for coming on.
Thank you.
I truly appreciate you. Now, if you have time and you want to chit chat and shop talk with us, you're more than welcome. All right.
Yeah, I can stay for a little bit.
Sweet. Oh, what's happening with the hot topics?
Right now, the only thing in the hot topics is we're waiting on to see who our next president is.
Right.
Listen, at this point, they could have took all the mail-in ballots and everything else and took all the tickets to Chuck E. Cheese and fed them to the machine and got faster results. Okay? So that way, once the results was counted, they would have been counted accurately, but then if the president wanted to sue, he could sue Chuck E. Cheese and not the states.
Yes.
So we're still waiting.
You know what's interesting? Okay, let me put this out there first. Before the electronic voting system was out, they did hand ballots, okay? They did hand count ballots. So that's why they have it where it's 10 days. That's why they have the 10 days. That's the reason behind that. So we going throw back. But what's crazy is the night of election, if you guys didn't, we covered that election night, but of course we ain't finished it. Look, I'm like, we don't have the ending count, but we already know. Oh, you know what? Let me say this right now. I heard that they are waiting for media outlet to say that Biden won. So right here on Shop Talk with Mel, I'm going to put it out there for the lovely people. Biden won. There's no way that your boy, so we gotta give it up. Give it up to President Biden or Vice President Biden until January. Yes, this media outlet said it. So go ahead and y'all can spread the word.
Biden, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
now you gotta go to jail, bruh. Bye.
Hey. Right now they're saying that I was gonna what's her name? Abrams. What's her first? It's down in
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey. Now you know where I was at, right? You know, I was sitting there like, I'm about to say Kamilah Abrams. Like, what the heck? Thank you. Stacey Abrams, they said that she helped with Georgia. Now they might have to recount Georgia. They may have to recount Georgia because it's like going back and forth even with the Senate. And y'all already know, let me tell you something. Let me put this out here. My little 77% in social studies, I guess it paid off. Shout out to Dr. Holt. What's his name? Mr. Holford. That was my social studies teacher. I ain't care about social studies. And he told me, he was about 100 then, but he told me, he said, listen, Melanie, you're gonna need it one day. I know my little 77 was gonna pay off. Yeah, I got a 77 in that was gonna pay off. Now, some of y'all on here with y'all little 50%, I know because I was in class with you, you little 55% in social studies, you know what I'm saying, in the 8th grade. I'm gonna need for y'all to go ahead and read some more. And understand this, I do look at Google, but you have to do your research to make sure that it is true. It's factual. Because I could put stuff on Google, you could put stuff on Google, we can just put whatever we want. We look it up and then you look and boom, there we go. And that's for the people that, my college student, because I have one that just graduated, that go to Google to look for answers and they don't understand why they're wrong. You got to do the work. Okay, you got to put in the work. But I'm happy that we're winning. Shout out to the Divine Nine for my lovely people that's, you know, in a Divine Nine. Shout out to them. They did the doggone thing. I gotta get my little sound effects together. Oh, wait a minute. Zoom. Okay. Look, I'm like, I can't do that one. I tried to get my, there we go. There we go. Where we at? Hey! I had to do that. I was like, had to get my little sound effect. No, what's that? I seen that wine glass. What was that? Okay, then. Oh, she got hers. Hey, early in the morning. I'm about to get fancy like that. You see, she got fancy, Nick. She got fancy on us. Wine glass. Oh, that's a coffee cup. Oh, that's a fancy coffee cup.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was wine. I was just saying, wait a minute, let me run them on there doing it like that.
Me too. Definitely. I was like, oh, okay, that's fancy. I got to step it up. I needed to. Hey, I need one of the fancy wine glasses that Dr. Kamilah Marie has. I definitely have to. I got to get one of those. Mark Meadows, he's the chief of staff for the current seated president, and he tested positive for the virus. Now, I did see where he was on, actually, he refused. I can't remember which news reporter he refused to do an interview with because they asked him to wear his mask. He was like, I'm 10 feet away from you. Why do I have to wear my mask? So he was like opposed to wearing the mask, but he tested positive for the virus, and he's right there with the seated president. Now, the seated president is saying that he's immune. If you had the virus, you're immune. Now, that's still out there. Tell me, Dr. Mimi, is that, can you be immune to the virus or what?
Not that we know of. Typically, you know, with like, even with the flu, it's not technically, you're not technically immune when you get it because there's so many different strains, and we have the same issue with COVID. It's less likely for you to get it, but they do have reported cases of people getting it and then having a complete symptom-free period for months and then having another case. So they've gotten it again, is what they've confirmed. So it is not confer immunity. We have an antibody test that we can run that can tell us might have had it, but it doesn't give us much information because we know that it probably doesn't confer immunity. So like, unlike other viruses that like hepatitis and things like that, once you get hepatitis A, you generally don't get it again and that kind of thing. This virus is so new, we just don't know. And so that's just more false information coming out from certain sources. And you have to be really, like you were saying about reading about vaccines for your children, it's also important to read and follow up anything you hear on the news at this point, because COVID changes every 5 minutes. So you have to keep up on it. If you're, you know, if you believe anything that's there, you're kind of behind the ball. So,
right.
So is it safe to say that COVID is one of the things that we're probably not gonna get rid of, like, or as easy as like the H1N1 and some of the other things, the Spanish flu, like all of a sudden it just disappears. So COVID, I mean, truthfully, growing up as a child on a Lysol bottle, I always read the coronavirus, and I was always like, what's that? So is it safe to say with this new strain that we just stuck with it? So
yeah.
I think tired of wearing the mask and everything else, but
yeah. I think it may, I mean, there's coronaviruses that cause the common cold. You know, there's all these different viruses out there. This is just a particularly virulent strain, meaning it's very, it can be very dangerous and very life-threatening. So that's why it has all this, you know, all this information and things going on around it, because it's caused just a wide variety of illness, right? Some people have no symptoms and then people end up passing away from it. So, and it's unpredictable, but we do know that it's more severe in people that have underlying chronic illnesses. So that's who we're trying to protect them by wearing the masks and doing all of that.
And you have people that are still fighting. That's a violation of my rights. I shouldn't have to listen. And these are the same ones, and I'm just going to put it out there, that are upset with the Black Lives Matter, and they all lives matter. These are the ones that are now fighting against wearing masks. I mean, so all lives obviously don't matter if you don't want to wear this mask to protect not only yourself, but your fellow man. So no, all lives don't matter. And it
well,
just goes
okay.
beyond.
All right, let me say this. The views of Nick the Voice is not the views.
Yeah, you're
Those
right.
that appear
My
on Shop Talk with Mel. Hold on, Nick.
Right.
On Shop Talk with Mel. Again, the views of Nick the Voice, because we know she's going to keep it 100, does not reflect the views of the guests or the rest of the staff in Shop Talk with Mel. But I truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate it. But you know what, Nick, speaking of that, with the whole all lives matter and people that say that, I just think that it's pretty much like a like denial. There wouldn't be no need for Black Lives Matter if all lives genuinely mattered.
Exactly. Exactly. And then they want a lot of people, every time you turn around and something is happening, oh, it's the like the riots in Pittsburgh, whatever. Oh, it was some of those Black Lives Matter people. No, it was some of y'all Trumpsters, because the vote didn't go his way. That's what was going on down there with those riots. It didn't have nothing to do with nothing else. Let's keep it 100, because those are the ones that are outside of certain voting centers that are still doing the recounts, praying. And Paula White, I'm surprised that the angels from Africa, girl, if you don't go sit somewhere, God is probably sitting there going, Lord have mercy, why?
Well, wait a minute. The angels from Africa would be Stacey Abrams and Kamilah Harris, okay? That came on in. They're the angels from Africa. She summons the man.
I used to love her, but honey, I have a different opinion of her now because, oh, Jesus, let me just bring it on down. That was just ridiculous. The angels and whatever she was doing, honey, you was not speaking tongues. You was speaking gibberish, and you need to be struck down for that, especially for somebody that's supposed to be a minister. You were not speaking in tongues, especially for that devil. Don't go there, because whoever we get in presidency right now, I mean, it's the votes of the people, but all in all, for real, to be serious, whatever is going on right now, it's all in the will of God. He's the one that has the last say, so period.
And you're right.
Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. But thank you, Jesus, Biden is going to be the new president. Now, Biden.
I already said it. A media outlet.
Now, let's see what Biden and Kamilah going to do. Y'all, come on, do the country right and get this stuff turned around so we can shut up the Trumpsters. And Trump, go somewhere and go hide up under your rock and wait for your jail sentence, please and thank you.
Okay. Well, listen, let's do it officially. The new president of the United States is Joe Biden.
Yes.
There you are. Right. It is there. It has been said. Would you say that the current seated president, when he was watching these, and this is for you, Dr. Mimi, the current seated president, as he was watching the election, especially when he actually came on at 2 a.m., I watched that. And when he said that he wanted to stop counting, he was like, and don't go find ballots from 4 a.m. talking about we forgot to count these. I thought it was a Saturday Night Live skit. I was looking at my TV looking for the little SNL symbol somewhere. Would you say that he's in the grieving process?
He is in denial, definitely.
There you go. That's number one, isn't it?
Yeah, he's in denial. So that's, the first part of the grieving process, the first step. So yeah, and I mean, he's often in denial, so I don't know if he'll get out of that part of it, but yes, he's definitely in denial. There's a little bit of mental issues going on there too, so that complicates it as well. I actually read the book that his niece wrote, and it was a very good summary of his mental issues, and it starts with, like I talked about before, his childhood traumas that led to all of this. So there's definitely a background of that with him, but yes, he's definitely in denial at this point.
Would you say he's narcissistic?
But then I think he's wavering over to he's on his way to anger, because now he's talking about suing the people.
Yes, definitely. But we knew he could do this.
He also said he's not going to the inauguration. So that right there also let you know that he lost, because he said he wasn't going
acceptance. He skipped over. He in acceptance already?
Yeah. He said he's not going to the inauguration. That is a sore loser, because if he feel like he has that authority to make them recount and sue the states for this and that, then guess what? My thoughts are at this point, and he's saying everybody's cheating. My thoughts are at this point, he shouldn't have been president in the first place. If we gonna keep it 100, and if Hillary was to act like he's acting now, she probably was supposed to be the real president. If she'd did what he's doing now and demanded a recount, she probably was elected the president. But because he did the things that he did, all this backslide and everything else, we end up with him. But truth be told, Hillary probably was elected president in 2016, but he already know the things that he did 4 years ago to get into the presidency, and now it didn't go in his favor. Now he want to tell the backdoor way, telling his secrets of how he got into the presidency. Boom, here you go. Hillary was probably our president.
So you think that he stole the election?
Yes, I do. Especially now he's saying that Biden is doing it. Oh, well, how you figure that this and that, you making it because that's what you did to get the presidency.
Now, you know what? You're on to something there, because him not trusting the judicial system, it makes you wonder, and it makes you think like, well, what do you know that we don't know? I believe prior to him coming out, he was pretty much setting the stage, preconditioning the country to say, okay, that they're going to cheat. And to my understanding as well, on different media sites, they were speaking of how he told his people, and this is all alleged, he told his people, don't vote early. He said, don't vote, or, you know, he pretty much was telling them, don't vote early, just vote on election day, so that he could go ahead and do what it is that, you know, make sure that he wins. Versus, you know, the other one's like, let's do the early voting. And with the electronic, yeah, people can, with the electronic voting process that we have, I believe that people can hack into the system. I truly believe they can hack into the system. They hack into bank accounts, don't they?
That's what happened when he won presidency. I'm telling you.
Okay. Now with the mail-in ballots or the early voting, guess what? Those you can't hack it. You can't hack into those. You can't cheat with those. They have to manually count it. That's probably why he didn't want people to go ahead, you know, and count them after 4 o'clock. Don't don't go finding ballots after 4 a.m. I was like, what? But it has to be it had to be postmarked by the election date, and then you can count them. Now, you said before you believe that he cheated on the last election. What was it? Detroit. He won Michigan by 11,000, if I'm not mistaken, which was kind of close. And then he won PA by 44, I believe. Yeah, PA by 44,000. So those are pretty close. It shows that
now he's suing. Pennsylvania and Michigan are two of the states that he's suing. Therefore, I mean, all the antics he's going through now.
He had the Republican legislator. He appointed those people. So are you suing your own people? Because those are the ones that put those orders in place.
They got tired of him. Trust me, there are some Republicans that they're Republicans, but they know some of what's going on with their party ain't right. And a lot of Republicans are tired. A lot of Republicans started regretting that they put him in office when he won the first time, which, like I said, I don't think he won. I think he cheated. All the antics he's going through now and talking about people cheating is because that's what he did the first time. Truth be told, y'all, I'm just going to let you know, Hillary actually should have been the president of the United States.
This segment has been brought to you by 5 Grands Boutique, 164 High Street Northeast, Warren, Ohio, 44418. And their number is 330-394-5000. And don't forget to visit their website at shop5grandsboutique.com. Again, that website is shop5grandsboutique.com.
All right. Look, I'm like, all right. Today's guest is Dr. Kamilah Marie. Again, Pivot and Bloom. So listen, if you're on the podcast, if you're a podcast listener, we love you and we appreciate you. So make sure you follow us. Mine is Let's Shop Talk. and hers is Pivot and Bloom. She is a physician, a mom, and a podcaster. Listen, we do it all. You don't have to have just one profession. Right. You don't. So we got her as a physician, a mom, and a radio personality. So visit Pivot and Bloom. Make sure you visit Pivot and Bloom. And when did you start?
I started in June. June 23rd was the first episode was released. So yeah, I started it process in May, but yeah. Yep.
Get it out there. Educate the people. We like it. Here at Shop Talk with Mel, we do edutainment. That's what it's all about, edutainment. And listen, and reality. I love my ratchet TV. I love my reality TV. Some of it, because I used to be a Real Housewives of, actually I liked all of them, but then it's like, bye with that. I used to like Real Housewives of Atlanta. Bored with that one. Now I'm on the Real Housewives of Potomac, and probably because I'm in the Maryland area, you know what I mean? Right over there. Let me see what they doing over there. I went to the coffee shop in Potomac. Child, let me tell you, that was the most expensive cup of coffee I ever had. I said, well, wait a minute. Now this is like, they got, I'll say Starbucks. So Starbucks is cool. They got a Starbucks over there, and that was like $3 less. So
wow.
I'm telling you. It was so different. I said, wait,
Starbucks is high.
Right.
Let me go across this bridge again. Listen, it was high. Look, let me bring my coffee with me next time. Okay. But I went and I saw it. I was like, okay, so this is Potomac. Let me roll on through and try to go to the grocery store. Let me see if I run into one of them. You know what I'm saying? Let me see if I run into the great Giselle. I don't care what nobody say. I like Giselle.
I do too.
She is off the hook. And yes, she's messy and she keep things going. And is she a first lady? I don't know. What's the image of a first lady? She used to be a first lady. But one thing I'm going to tell you, true story, you already know I'm going to keep it 100. True story. I dated a pastor. You know what? I dated two. I don't know why. I don't know why they be bothering me. I told the one, listen, I cut my hair for why. I said, why do you? I grew up in the church. This one deacon liked me, right? And I was like, I can't take no more. I'm done. I shaved my hair off because he would compliment me on my hair. I told my girl Shelly, shout out to Shelly's. I said, cut my hair. And she was like, huh? I was like, because he kept complimenting me and I knew what it was, because he would just like do things. And you could kind of pick up on, different vibes if somebody is liking you or not. I'm just chilling, minding my business. But I ran and I told her, shout out to you, Gail, at Shelly's. I told him, I said, cut it off. They said, what? I said, he keep complimenting me on my hair. I'm not ready to give up my stilettos and my sports bike because I had an image of how you should be as a, you know what I mean? Okay, well, I be in the church. Listen, I am not a heathen. I go to church. I'll be in the back pew though. Listen, I'll be back there with the ushers. I'm back there with the ushers. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you sprinkle, you got to throw it. You know what I mean? Sprinkle a little water, But I thought that there was an image that you had to uphold because you see the first ladies, but I didn't know that the first ladies had that many issues. Mm-hmm. Because finding out as time goes on, they're men, but they're held to a higher standard by society. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to mess that up. And I didn't want to mess up like the other one, like bless his heart, he out of state and he doing it big. But I have to be me, like Nick Du Bois, like Dr. Mimi. You got to be who you are. Mm-hmm. And when you, and I'm not saying, or I'm shedding light. I'm not saying that all first ladies ain't doing nothing. I'm not saying that. However, they support their husband. Now, see, I could support you, but I had to ask the question. I said, do you expect me to be at every event? I mean, because I needed to know that off top. Do you expect me to be at every single event? Because every time you turn around, everybody, the funerals and stuff, you see, they go to the pastor. And I ain't lying, these were some fine brothers. I give it to them. Fine.
Like that one we had on the show not that long ago.
I didn't date him, but nice looking
That's
gentleman.
what I was talking about. He was fine. He was fine. And he complimented me on my eyes. I was like, ooh.
You saw
If
it.
I wasn't married.
Look at you. Like, hey, taking a trip, road trip, you know.
Exactly. Let's go on. Where you at? Toledo, Indiana, somewhere?
Indiana. Crazy. But nice looking guys. And the one he did say that, and what he said to me that was really profound, because I asked him, because I don't want to make you look bad. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna lie, you have me as the first lady, it's gonna, one or two things gonna happen. Either your church congregation is gonna grow, or they gonna go, because I'm too honest. Now I don't want to be the demise of your flock. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want that responsibility. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, the church dwindling. He got that first lady. She was sitting there talking on her show. I heard her, because I'm gonna keep it 100, just like you and you. We gonna talk. We gonna shop talk, and I gotta give it to you. Gotta give it to you real. And if I see somebody, because you know they got I got this from Pastor Paramore, Bishop Paramore, the Choochies, the church hoochies. You got
That's a new one, Choochies.
Choochie, that Paramore. I give it to him. You got the Choochies. Now, see, people that know me, you know, they be like, all right, they go Mel. I'm not standing for the Choochies. And then you coming up in the church and you got the little mini skirt. So you got the little mini skirt. Let me tell you, I'll be an usher that day. Don't put them in the front. Let's put them in the overflow. Right? We're not going to turn you away. We're going to put you in the overflow, okay? Put you up in the balcony. You know, they got that little thing there because he's a man. He's a man. And then you got the other people. You got guys that actually go to church to look for chicks, though.
Yeah.
Shall we be real? You know what I'm saying? Shall we be real? But you do have, just like that pastor in Indiana, Nick. Remember, he said he had the fastest growing church.
Sure did.
Because he was a single pastor. So you got people that'll sit there and they'll go to church for the dude, for the pastor. Everybody want to be the first lady. And then let me tell you this. I'm going to let y'all in on this. Now, if the pastor dated several people, see, Giselle got me go. See, that's why I like Giselle. If the pastor, if it's different women in the church that the pastor have dated, they say dated, taken out to dinner, you know, they be like, oh yeah, I'm dating the pastor. A dinner is not that, just because they escorted you to a funeral or whatever it is, boom. Y'all not together, okay? But if they dated several people in the church, they can't settle down with that particular person in the church, but they could grab somebody from the outside and those church members would be okay. What's that? What's that?
Jealousy.
Yeah, that's what is strange.
It's really, it's like, okay, you can't date my sister, but you can date, I don't know who that is, and we'll accept that person. Or do you just wait? Like, I can't understand it. I'm like, do you just like wait on him? Or, you know, do you leave the church? Or do you, I'm petty. I'm out, deuces. I'm out. I'll be like, oh, okay. But then I'm not going to join the church for a guy. I'm not going to join the church for a guy.
No.
That's not going to happen. I'm just not. Now, one guy I was dating, look at me, I date. Don't mean I slept with him. Let's be clear. You can date people without sleeping with them. If you sleep with them, let's be clear for the young people. Because they just
there is a difference.
Oh man, they just count. They're like, oh, we dated. Why don't you just say we did it? Okay? We ain't dated. We did it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you don't have to sleep. When you date with people, you collect data.
Mm-hmm.
Date data.
Absolutely.
I'm collecting your information to see if this is going to work. I am not going to sleep with you just because I think you cute, because I don't know what you might have. Okay? And you can use protection and still have something.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Still get the cooties.
You can still get the cooties. Okay. They say you get the cookies, but you could get the cooties with giving the cookies. Don't nobody want that. And just because they're paying on the cloth,
control and
what about those that
condoms don't? Yeah.
Just because they're a man of the cloth and you thinking they clean, dang squeaky.
No, that's not a guarantee, unfortunately.
Dang squeaky.
Look, the condoms don't fight off everything.
It shows those creepy crawlers. Who got the creepy crawlers?
Next thing you know, you'll be waking up itching real bad.
Mm-hmm.
Scratching and sampling. at the altar. Like, but I do have to say, so back to the other guy. But this is what he said. This is what the one pastor said. He said, and I got asked to marry. I don't know what's wrong with the people. They don't want to marry me because I be extra. They be extra. Like, you got to be patient with me. But here's the thing. He said, I will marry you for you. I'm marrying you, not marrying you to be a first lady. And that's good. I thought that was good. I was like, oh, I'm marrying you to be my wife, not the first lady. But you don't, and you support each other and each other's platform. Now, you do have those who say that, what's up, Tish? That say that they're, I want to support my husband, and I'm in this role because I don't want to make him look bad. But what about your husband making you look bad, Giselle? That's why she got the divorce. He's sleeping with everybody. What they call him, pastor pregnancy. And the reason they called him, they said he get everybody pregnant in Atlanta. Now, this is alleged. Jamal, don't come after me, but you could definitely come on the show.
Wow.
Oh yeah, Jamal Bryant. Oh heck, see, I'm sorry, Jamal.
I've never heard that about him.
Pastor pregnancy?
Yeah,
We
no,
learn right here on Shop Talk. Pastor get him
learn something
pregnant.
new every day.
I'm gonna have to bring it to him like Sister Betty. Pastor, now Pastor, come on, Pastor. You know better. You know better.
Yeah.
Woo.
He need a Sister Betty to block him.
Yeah,
block
you do.
those choochies.
Because you know I was blocking left and right.
Now, you know what I wonder? I wonder if the people really like him. You know, are they really into him, or do they like the position that he holds? What you think, Nick? What you think, Mimi? Dr. Mimi?
Mel, you're stuck.
But that's all right, I'm with it now.
I only heard a little bit of it, but from what I heard, because for some reason you got stuck, but from what I heard, yeah, I can hear you now. It's the position and the money he holds.
The position, so power.
Mm-hmm.
Power.
Because I guarantee you, if he was to lose it all tomorrow, he wouldn't have half of the followers and people chasing him that he has today.
He won't look as fine.
He probably wouldn't look as fine. They were going about their business.
He carries himself really well, but he's not attractive.
Right.
But you know what else? And he might not be attractive because of hearsay, because I don't know directly. Like I said, Pastor Jamal Bryan, you are welcome on Shop Talk with Mel to clear your name. But we gonna finish Shop Talking. We gonna finish Shop Talking, okay? You have those people that
as long as all the rest of us don't get struck down with lightning with him.
No. Look, bind the devil. Bind that to the pits of hell in the name of Jesus. Let me correct. Let me clear that up and correct that right now. I ain't trying to do nothing, none of that, okay? How you doing on your way down? Hey, you know what I mean? That's it.
Exactly.
Him, like I said, he carries himself well. He's not really attractive, but even like when Giselle we're talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac, even when she talk about him, and she has a book out too. I didn't read it yet, but her book is pretty much talking about being the first lady. A lot of first ladies that I notice, and I do have a book coming out. It's called Front and Center, SINNER. So you guys watch out for that. It'll be coming out next year, should be released. Here's the deal. I always release in April. I'm trying to release in April. And I was supposed to do the play.
And then the plays afterwards.
Well, the problem was the COVID for the play, because the play was going to come first, remember?
Exactly. We were supposed to have done that last November.
Yeah, and then it was like the whole COVID thing, because we planned it for Mother's Day.
We said March.
Yeah,
or Mother's Day. That's what it was. So, yeah.
So, but that's all right. Y'all still can read it and y'all can get it. And this is like the deep down secrets of it. And I'm telling you a little bit of what's going on right now. Did you know that they had insurance for pastors who sleep with people in the congregation and they come back and want to sue them? Yes, they have insurance.
What is that, malpractice? Like, what is that?
Yeah, almost like a malpractice suit. You know how you have when somebody fall at your church, or you know the snow is down.
Liability.
It's a liability.
Wow.
Now, and why is it a liability? Because it's a lot of pastors that's sleeping with people in the church.
Whatever happened to the good old being a pastor because you were called and you were dedicated to being called by the Lord? That's it. That's all. You only got eyes for your wife unless you are single, and then you were looking for a godly woman to join you. Whatever happened to that?
Well, see, here's the thing.
But then you have those same pastors now up in the pulpit preaching to these young ones and everything else, telling them they wrong and don't fornicate, don't do this, don't do that. But you doing the same thing you telling your congregation not to do.
Well, okay, here's what happened to it. People weren't voicing it. That's what happened. That stuff was happening for a long time, and the pastor had his little stuff, but people wasn't talking. But this new day age, they like, a secret? Where? Listen, they had one young lady in the area. Mimi, I'm gonna let you talk too. They had one young lady in the area. It was hilarious because, listen, young, they are not holding back. She screenshot her inbox where a politician she thought was picking her up. I didn't think he was picking her up when I looked at the screenshot, but she posted and was like, why is a married politician in my inbox? Screenshot, snap, and put it out there. They doing it now. They telling. The only ones that's keeping quiet is the older ones because they don't want to tell their business. I had one, I call him Reverend Tupac. I ain't gonna say his name, but I always call him. I call him Reverend Tupac. Listen, and then he got all of them bothering me. All the chicks bothering me. They come to me. What is he doing? I said, listen, I will not be your pawn. Talk to her, walk her up. We was at a, I don't know, it was like a play, a Heaven and Hell, something. I don't remember. They coming up to me while he talking to somebody else. I said, I will not be a part of your album release, Reverend Tupac. I can't do it. But it was 4 different women in the church, one in the congregation, one in the choir, one sitting on the left side of the church. They know their position and they listening to, but I promise I won't say your name because we still cool. And one of the ushers. I was shocked. But they all kept quiet because they don't want to tell their business. So they just like keeping it quiet, silent, until one came to my house, which is my homegirl. Listen, I thought we was cool. She kept that secret. She came to the house. He was there chilling as usual. Boom. Okay, this what happened. It was like, hey, can I have some water? She come every time, all the time. Go in the refrigerator and get it, because you already, Nick, you know how I roll. Once you come, you watch them. You gotta get your own. I'm not the greatest. I'm go, okay, yeah.
All right, go ahead and get it. You know what it's in the refrigerator.
Right. He was sitting there with his water. So we gonna say that this was his glass, okay? Y'all see I got a different cup. What's in that cup? Anyway, I was like, go ahead and get it. Man, listen. She grabbed his. You know, I'm a straw drinker, but she was like, out of his glass. Now, y'all know me. I was like, what? I see what was going on. I was like, what in the world? Man, listen, I was laughing so hard. I had no idea that he's sitting there moonlighting my girl. She didn't tell me. Probably because, you know, I got a big mouth. But I would have said nothing. I would have just been like, what do you do? What do you do in that situation when you know that's your girl, but she kept it quiet, so I wasn't even put in that situation. So kudos to you, Reverend Tupac. He didn't put me in that. Where it's like, okay, this is my girl. I know he with these people. 4, she was number 5. Okay, playing games. But what do you do in that situation where you know this is your girl and she kicks it with some dude that you know is kicking it with somebody else? What do you do?
I kept my mouth shut.
You keep it, okay.
But I still got blamed by my friend.
So what happened to you?
The situation was, best friend was messing around with my sister's boyfriend. I didn't know my sister was back with this guy.
Okay.
My sister confronted him because she found out. And he said, oh, your sister must have said something. So he in turn went back to my best friend and told her, and that's why we were no longer best friends. And she was mad at me, and I didn't know why. Come to find out, that's why. Well, my sister found out because the big dummy must have been the last person that the big dummy talked to before he went to my best friend's house. got to my best friend's house and butt dialed. My sister didn't know it. So my sister was on the phone the whole time. He was at the house for conversation and other things. But I got blamed for telling. And then in turn, best friend slept with second husband.
Who second? Who, yours?
Yes.
Okay, that's why he's a second husband. We'll move on.
That's why he's the second husband. That's why he's the
We'll
best
move
friend.
on. What about you, Mimi? Have you ever been in that position?
No, I don't think so. I've been on the other side of that where, you know, and it was a situation where there was no intimacy, but there was a guy I was interested in, and my friend saw him out with somebody else, and she told me. And she did it kind of like, you know, as a protective thing, like, oh, you know, I saw him out, but it was almost like she enjoyed it a little bit too much for me. So it kind of soured the friendship in a way. But yeah, I've been on that side of it, not on the other side of it. But I don't know that I was appreciative of her telling me, you know, necessarily, but, you know, I see why it would be important to know that, but it was kind of like he was out with somebody. There was nothing really going on. It was just, this might be somebody he's dating, you know, kind of thing. But we weren't exclusive or like in a relationship. So it was different kind of thing.
Okay, I want to hear from the listening audience. You guys, let me know. You could call in or, you know, on the live feed. Let me know. Would you want to know? This is for the males and the females. Would you want to know if your significant other was seeing somebody else? Would you want to know? Would you be okay with your friend telling you, or would you not be okay? Just like Dr. Mimi said, she said she doesn't know if she was okay with that. She seemed kind of excited about letting her know that somebody she was talking to somebody else. Let us know. I want to hear from you. Go ahead, Nick. What you say?
Tell me. I need to know, because I need to know. Probably need to go knock him upside his head.
Dang. but if you, okay, Cherie said yes. One of the listening audience, they said yes. They will want to know. My thing is, you're collecting data and you're dating that individual. Then, hey, I feel like I dodged a bullet. Thank you. But I will say this. I remember I really liked this guy. Really, really liked him. And boom, that was like the bomb. However, somebody said, which was close to me, that she slept with him. He did me a favor. And I was like, I need you to do blah, 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 blah. He said, okay. And they said they slept with him. Years went by. I had no idea that he was devastated. Tish said, absolutely, she would want to know. I didn't know he was that devastated. But years later, and I'm talking probably like 8 years later after I split, I was like, oh, no, you with my people. I don't want you. Because who wants somebody that everybody didn't have? I don't. Just like guys don't want a hoe, a chick don't want a hoe either. I don't want to take you to the reunion. I'm sitting there trying to get some potato salad, and you done toss somebody else's salad. Get out of here. You know, I'm like, no, thank you.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So, no, I don't want to. I got a lot of cousins. Did you talk to both? Matter of fact, here go all the pictures. Oh, I didn't know. The one guy, listen, the one guy ended up, he was with my cousin, didn't even know it was my cousin. I said, that's what you get for going straight upstairs. It was a big 8x10 sitting there. He didn't see it till he came down. He was like, you know her? And she was like, yeah, that's my cousin. He's like, oh my gosh. Off limits. It's a done
That's
deal.
what happened to me a couple weeks ago.
But I will tell you this. Wait a minute, 1 second, Nick. Let me finish. The one guy where he alleged slept with somebody that was really bloodline. And he said, no, I didn't. I never asked him. So ladies, I'm just here to tell you. Asked him.
Yeah.
I never asked him. I just went from her because I thought she was being honest. And she happened to be in the same place. I went and got her and came over. I said, didn't you tell me that y'all slept together? And guess what she said? She was like, oh, I was just playing. Yes. He was so livid. I never seen him because he was like, and he told me then, I never touched him or her garment. So y'all know because he turned and I'm like, yeah, okay, because why would she lie? But it was 8 years after. And I'm telling you, she came and she's like, oh, I was just playing, and skated away. So we used to skate, you know, I like to roll, and skated away. And he was so livid. So then you think like, wonder how it would have turned out. But by the 8 years, I'm done. We're done. You know, we different people.
Yeah.
But that person said that they were just playing. So in that, you know, when people will say, you know, yes, I want to know, yes, you have to consider the source. And my suggestion to you guys would be ask.
Communicate.
Ask. Yes, communicate. Just sit there and say, you know, I mean, don't just take somebody else's word for it. Just ask them.
Mm-hmm.
We're all grown. If they lie, like, why do you have to lie? I believe everything you tell me, especially on the onset, until I catch you in a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm like, we're wrong. We don't got to make things up. Like, what's wrong with that? What's that about? At this stage of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask the live studio audience that was cleared. That's why they live studio audience. Look, cleared COVID. Would you want to know if you were dating somebody and somebody knew that they were dating somebody else? Would you want to know?
Well, in actuality, you said live studio audience, and at this stage of the game, you already know. You already know. All you have to do is listen to them. All you have to do is listen. We don't learn how to listen when we're young.
Mm-hmm.
We hear what we want to hear.
Okay.
But when we learn how to listen,
mm-hmm.
they will tell us. That's why at a certain point in life, I stopped going to dinner and I started going for coffee.
Okay.
Because coffee has the caffeine in it. It will make them talk, and all you got to do is listen.
Just listen.
All you got to do is listen.
Okay.
And when you're talking male, men are usually pretty habitual. So they have a routine. So you can see when the routine changes. And so if you're communicating with them, and then all of a sudden they are busy at those hours that they used to call you, and it was repetitive, that's because something else has come in and somebody's got to get out of the way. But generally, all you got to do is listen to them and they will tell you. You just have to listen. And it's not that difficult. We just have to learn how to be quiet. Women tend to be talkers all the time. But if we be quiet and listen, they will give you your answers. It may not be what you want to hear because of what you want. But if you want the truth, sometimes you just got to be quiet and listen. It'll come to you.
Now that's interesting. It'll come to you because they're going to tell it.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. They'll tell it.
Yeah, it's just you have to listen. You can't decide, well, this is what I want, and they said A, B, C, and D. Okay, but what are they not saying? I remember an older lady told me years ago that you have to learn to listen to what they are not saying.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I grew into understanding that, and I said, wow, this is deep. And so I tend to try to help young sisters, like, don't waste a whole lot of time right there. Come on, it's so many levels to this thing, so let's move it right along. And had wished, I do that because I had wished that someone was pouring into me like that. And in latter times, there were people that began to pour into me like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, wait a minute. All right, well.
So you listen to them?
Oh yeah, those are golden nuggets. You put them in your pocket for when you do need them. So when the stuff starts to reveal itself, you can go back to that golden nugget, pull it out your pocket, and you don't have to waste your time. But you learn.
Right, that goes with the marriage too. You gotta listen. When your significant other, your spouse's routine changes, the conversation changes, the mood changes, they're telling on themselves.
It could be something as simple as they wear a different pair of shoes.
Exactly.
Like, you don't wear those shoes any other time. Why you wearing those?
It could be as simple as they go to work, you know, just throw on their clothes, take a shower, throw on their clothes, go to work, but then all of a sudden they starting to wear cologne when they go to work. Something as simple as that. I pay attention to all of that. Trust me.
Nick.
Been done that a couple times. And when that silent conversation starts to change, I get very boisterous, like, excuse me, why you wearing cologne?
Guess what I'm gonna okay, we're gonna come right back to that, but I got it. This is breaking news. They said one media outlet has to declare Biden the 46th president. I did. Now CNN just did it. Shout out to Shoptalkwithmel. It just came through. Yeah. Now back to you, Nick. You said that they it's simple as wear cologne to work.
Right.
To notice that there's an issue with your man cheating.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Changing shoes. You said
sometimes you also got to check them doggone pay stubs. because if they don't come home at the time that they usually come home and they an hour or two late and they ain't told you they was working overtime, or all of a sudden they come home late all the time and talk about, oh, I had to work over, baby, you better check your pay stub to see what the overtime hours are. Because if there is no overtime hours, or if there's only a little bit and they've been gone overtime more than, then you got to start asking questions. Bruh,
That's a common one.
Is it?
Yeah,
You know, I'm gonna ask, this question is for you, Dr. Mimi. Being in the position that you hold, have you found it hard to date people because of you being a doctor, medical doctor?
Yes. People that find out, because I don't divulge it usually. I've been more open with it this last 7 months or so than I've ever been, because people, men and women, kind of react to it. You know, there's kind of like a jolt a little bit. And I'm not sure why that is. A lot of people say, I didn't really, you know, if they talk to me for a while, they're like, I would have never thought you were a doctor. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah. So yeah, I've found it to be challenging because there are people who will look at that position and have their own ideas about it. And it's probably, you know, inaccurate the way that they think about it, but they think, you know, for whatever reason that they can't be with me because of it for some reason. You know, maybe they're intimidated. I don't know. A lot of people say that's not the case, but, you know, I have had definitely some challenges there with that. So it's interesting. It's hard to date in these times anyway. It's just kind of, you know, COVID and all of that. So
the reason I asked that question is because I know that for some unknown reason, I'll get the look, you said they didn't know you were a doctor. That's something. I get the I thought you were stuck up. Minor.
Yes.
I thought you were stuck up.
Yeah.
Why? You didn't get an opportunity to learn me or know me. And then there are some of those guys, and I'm speaking to you lovely people, the listening audience. There's those guys that are, I would say, I don't want to say intimidated, because they come off as if they have high self-esteem and they're confident. And then for some unknown reason, the real them comes out because they don't date what we are, they date who we are. Meaning they don't date the female, what we are, we're just a female. They focus on what we are. And I don't know if that gives them like clout to say, okay, this is who I'm dating, and it puts them on a higher pedestal. And then you have those who will, they know they can't meet an expectation. They don't even give you the opportunity to tell them what their expectation is.
Yes.
You know, what your expectation is, but they just assume. And then they get an attitude and say what they're not going to do. And to those men, I'm going to say aim lower. And that's it. Just aim lower. Find somebody that you feel as though that you are the cream of the crop and they can cater to you, because, and some men have a problem with their females, their women making more money than them. Now, Rugal, who's usually on the show, he said that he said that his friend wouldn't date anybody who made more money than him. And he said, well, that takes you out of any models, any movie stars, you know what I mean? If you have a problem with them, it was like, you just minimized, you know, your ground. That's like, come on. So you do have that issue. And they said they didn't know that you were a doctor. Probably because they put you on, they put you in a different category, just like they do pastors, and they forget not only, she's not just a doctor, she's not just a physician, she's a female. And listen at the birds, listen, the birds is in on it. What the birds said, is that the cello?
The birds and the neighbors over there, they all must have found out, because there was a celebration over here on the street over. I'm surprised.
They must have been listening to Shop Talk with Mel.
They must have been listening, because right after you made that announcement, my neighbors over here, they outside doing yard work, a bunch of them out there making noise, hitting on stuff and everything.
Wow.
So y'all be safe out there for the people that might be upset.
Right.
For those people, y'all be careful now.
Oh yeah, because you know we're gonna have a lot of backlash from the Trumpsters. And listen, I'm already ready. Like I done had to say on my little FB many times, I am not my ancestor. You will catch these hands.
Well, all right. Well, you're not your ancestors. That's what's happening now with the younger generation too. It's like, okay, they already marched. We out here to do something. Look at the birds is chirping again. Did we get America back? We didn't
Yes,
got America
we did.
back.
Yes, we
It's
did.
gonna be an uphill climb though, but yes.
Yes. So what do you think about 2024? Do you think that he's going to run again?
I just heard about that yesterday and I was like, oh, you mean Trump?
Hopefully,
Yeah, Trump.
Yeah, I heard about, I was like, oh, maybe we should have let him win this time so we could be, but no, we can't afford that. I think he'll be too old, honestly. I mean, he'll be, older, and I don't like ageism, but at the same time, to start off a presidency at that age and in the state he's in, I don't think will be good. So I'm, that's more so my prayer is that he won't, but I don't think he will. I think this is it for him, hopefully.
Now,
go ahead.
Sorry,
he's been fighting so hard to get back in because he already know the charges that he's been facing, and they just been holding off because he was in the presidency. That's why this man was fighting so hard now to get back in there, because he already know by 2024, homie gonna be in jail or getting ready to go.
Well, that too.
You think he really is gonna go to jail?
He better. If they put Bill in jail, they better put him in jail. And his crimes is way worse than what they accused Bill Cosby of.
Now, again, the views of Nick Du Bois is the views of Nick Du Bois.
She has to
not the views of the guests or the staff of Shop Talk with Mel. We had to put that out there. So you believe that his crimes were worse than Bill Cosby's crimes?
I mean, basically, just about Bill Cosby was accused of giving, but back then they did all them hallucinogenic drugs and this and that. But he admittedly, several times you could tell his mannerisms towards women. Yes, that man has little children, like kids. Come on now, man. Little kids, the way you hug little kids or whatever, and just all them pictures and things coming out. Yeah. Man, listen, they put Bill in jail. They put R. Kelly in jail. Weinstein finally went to jail. Well, I don't know, is he in jail? But his cohort went to jail and killed himself in jail. So they said he killed himself. Anyway.
You think he on his private island?
Yeah. My thing is, yes, Donald Trump was a part of that as well. He raped women. He sexually abused women. He did all of that.
Again, the voice of Nick Du Bois is the views of Nick Du Bois and not the guest or the staff of Shop Talk with Mel. But she gonna keep it 100.
But I mean,
that's why you Nick Du Bois.
That's what he was going. I mean, that's part of the things that they brought to the forefront to the court. Not only that, with the stuff with his taxes, tax evasion and everything. So yes, it's me voicing my opinion and not everybody else's views, but it's been on the news. He's already been in court. They've been fighting the court for that. So yeah, I mean, his crime, he better go to jail. They put Bill Cosby in jail. They need to put R. Kelly in jail. Nasty.
Isn't he already in jail?
And they ain't even letting him out. They're not even letting him out.
No, they're trying to get out, but that's not happening.
Right. It's like, no, it's not working for you. Right. Dr. Mimi, Renee said that she agrees with you. He'll be way too old in 2024. And she also said, piggybacked off of you, Nick Du Bois, she said that Trump is going to be in hiding after this.
Maybe he'll go and join his best buddy Putin. Go on over there and see him, bro.
Is it going over that way? Pack up and go
over that way. Because guess what? Them Russians over there ain't gonna play with him the first time he get out of line.
Which was like, ain't doing it, huh?
Exactly. They ain't playing with him.
Well, remember his first string. They're all gone. Trump's first string. They all what, in jail? And they're
in
talking.
jail, quit, in hiding,
They had hiding too.
located under rocks. Listen, some of them might have a new identity in another country. Ain't no telling.
Oh man.
They know things.
Well, you know what? He does have the money, but here's the thing. I want to say this too. When Melania, when it cast her vote, I was watching, I think Carson Daly, and they said the first lady cast her vote. He said on that show, he was like, I don't know who she voted for. She's the first lady that we really don't know who she voted for. Because remember, she didn't even want to move.
Right.
She didn't want to move into the White House. Now, do you think her not wanting to move into the White House was because of her son? You know, autism, you can't interrupt their pattern, you know what I mean, by their son being autistic. Or she just didn't want no parts. That's why I said, well, gold digging goes bad. Like, I just want this cat for his money. And then you talk about, I'm the first lady, like we was talking about. The first lady, an image to uphold. What do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Was that you that posted the little videos with different videos of like whenever the president will go somewhere or like be on TV or something, he'll try, okay, but somebody else. There were several clips of when with those two together and him trying to hold her hand and she would always snatch it from him.
So we don't know. Did she vote for Biden? Do you think she voted for Biden?
Probably did. She probably did. She know her husband ain't right. That's why every time you turn around and he tried to hold her hand during a public forum, she was always snatching that hand suddenly. But see, the way the media is set up nowadays, they catch everything and everything be blown up 10 times. I mean, there was a bunch of videos of like them coming off the plane, them waving at each other, or like the one video where he was talking, he looked back at his wife and she was smiling as soon as he turned his head back towards the crowd. Her smile was like,
hey, listen, Shirley said she's excited about the presidency. She listening. Hey, that's it. Finally, I feel my anxiety has decreased by the end of the show. Look at there. I wonder if it had to do with the outcome. Because I'm sitting there like, listen.
I will say I'm disappointed in some of our community, especially with the Black men, because all of what's been going on the last couple of years with our Black men and everything else, and behind what's going with this president and what he's been allowing and being, you know, and saying is okay, what he's been okaying, a lot of them still did not want to vote for Biden because of Kamala. She gonna put us in jail, this and that, but you're okay with what's going on with the current president. And they did not vote. And they voiced that they did not vote for Biden or for a liberal or whatever, that they voted for Trump. Why?
I seen
what part of what's been going on.
I seen where some people
is okay with
had
y'all.
A problem with Kamala. They had an issue with her being the vice president because they were saying that Biden is old and he might die, then she's the president, and they're not ready for a Black female president. What's your thoughts on that? I probably you got me. Did you hear everything I asked? I said, what's your thoughts?
Yes, ma'am. My thoughts are, get over yourself. We got a Black president finally, and now all of a sudden he out of office, and everybody that helped vote him in got a problem with him. Man, y'all get over yourself. That's some of the problem with the Black community. We can't. The white folks is gonna stick together. Either they're gonna be with you or they're not, but they stick together. That's our problem now. We don't all stick together. We got to stick together in order for the other races and the rest of the world to take the Black people, Black Lives Matter seriously, take the Black race, our race seriously. We have to stick together like one mighty fist, and we are not that. I mean, would it be different if she was a white female vice president? Would y'all vote for him then? Would you be okay with it then? I mean, or is it just
guess what? It don't matter now. That's irrelevant because we got Biden in
now because she's there. But my thing is, would you be okay if she was white instead of Black? Or is it the fact that she's a female, period? Get over it. Guess what? A female president might turn this whole entire world around and make y'all men look stupid. Is that what you're mad at? Is that the problem?
Why would it make the men feel stupid? Tell me. Why do you think that?
You know, us women have a tendency, even though sometimes we work in the background and clean up the mess the men make, tell me I'm wrong. A lot of times.
You're not wrong on that, but I will tell you too, as a female, and me being in leadership and being in management, and I'm just going to put this out here, I have more problems with females than I did men, because women tend to hold on to grudges and they take things personal.
Yeah,
we do. We do.
Look,
we do. I agree with that, because I'm number
yeah,
one.
a guy, you could come in if they did something wrong. Here you go. Here, can you sign this? They do it. Boom. Next day, hey, what's going on? A female, she mad. She done took it. Can you sign this? Well, I got to sign that. It's up to you if you want to sign it or not. If you choose not to sign it, okay. They still rolling their eyes. They mad. Why? I got a job to do.
Right. And you know what? I ain't even gonna lie. Yes, we do hold grudges. I will hold a grudge. Listen, I fully understand that as well. So yes, we are at a double-edged sword here with that one.
Mm-hmm.
We really are.
Yeah.
Now
There's also expectations of women. There's expectations of women to be more caring, nurturing, different things that go on with that. So if we behave in a certain way, you know, we're aggressive rather than assertive, you know, there's all of that stuff that people just expect. And if you don't fit that, then they're not happy with it. And I too have had the same issue. It's usually women that I have the biggest problem with in a leadership role, when I'm in a leadership role. Yeah.
I have a live studio audience. What's your thoughts on that? You want to come in on that or no? Or are you just listening? Okay, she's just listening. She's just listening. Okay. It's all good. Look,
but she always has to come with that good wisdom, though.
Yeah, I got another listening audience in. COVID free. We still, listen, get tested. Please get tested. I got to put it out there. I want to share this information because this actually happened to me. And I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason. Please check your bank accounts. Please check your bank accounts. I won't say my bank's name, but I have mine set up for $1. If a withdrawal of more than $1 comes out, I'm notified. So I had more than $100 withdrew out of my account. Something just said, hey, Mel, just check your balance. And I just checked my balance. And when I checked it, I was like, who's this person out of Denver, Colorado? I mean, I know I got my cowboy hat, but I promise I don't know nobody in Colorado. Okay. I'm sitting there like, So I disputed it. But then as I was talking to the bank, I said, honestly, I feel like it was an inside job. And so the guy that was on, he said, you feel like it's an inside job? I said, yes, because I was not notified. I was not notified because, like I said, I have that on there of my dollar, you know, more than $1 amount coming out. Why was that? Anyway, they reversed it immediately and they took care of it, but I still believe that I wasn't notified. Now, Mel, why would you put $1? Some people put 20, some people put 10. Mel, why would you put $1? Because and she know I'm gonna put it out there. One of my homegirls I went to school with back in the day, she used to be a bank manager, okay? Well, her being a bank manager, and this is why I'm saying this to you. She was a bank manager, and people that had direct deposits coming in, she was taking $1 out of their account. $1. So if you had lots of dollars, like, I can't believe this. Y'all already know, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you because I want to protect you. She would take $1 out. So let's say your deposit was for $1,054. And then you saw your deposit come to your account, $1,053. You ain't really thinking too much of it because you figure, okay, well, I go to work and that's close enough. It might be from this tax or this deduction, whatever, and you're not really thinking about it. You take $1 out of 200 people that get direct deposit. Because see, if you notice, they stop and everybody going paperless. I'm old school, send me my stuff. I need to look at it. They're not getting pay stubs anymore because everybody's trying to not pay the post, you know, the postage, keeping your post office people out of business. Pay that postage, okay? I'm all about the people. I'm all about the economy. But what you want to do is you want to check it. See exactly what it is. Tell them to email you what your, you know, what your pay stub, email you your pay stub. See what it is that you're supposed to get. Because I'm telling you, she did that. Yeah, she did her time. And she bounced back. I don't know how she bounced back, but she did. We just gonna keep that there. But that's what she was doing. Over a 10-year period. $1. $1. $1. And then when she go to jail, she wanted to know why her family wasn't sending no money. They like, you. They was like, I ain't tell you to give me the money. You know what I'm saying? Like they wasn't helping. But over a 10-year period, $1 out of your account. And that was during that time they were doing that Social Security fraud. You remember somebody in the Social Security was taking $1 out. I don't know if they knew each other. They had some type of club, some type of Facebook group. I'm only just putting that out there. I'm just playing with the Facebook. But if it was a group like how to be a criminal, like how to get rich quick, I would have never thought of that.
The ex-mayor of Farrell, his wife, went to jail for the same thing. Bank fraud, because she was extorting money. Now, what did you need to extort money for? Your husband was the mayor at the time, and he was mayor of Farrell for a very long time. And she finally got caught. She was working for PNC Bank. She finally got caught, and she had to serve her time. She got fired.
Alleged. I gotta say alleged. I gotta say. Even if you know, I gotta say alleged. Gotta protect. Listen, I gotta protect my brand. I hear you, though. I hear you.
It wasn't the end of everything, but honey, listen. I check my bank account every day, go through things, and if I see something that I might have forgot that I spent some money on something before, I call on the bank and checking my pay stubs. I make sure I check that.
Now let me say this. Let me say what one of the listening audience actually, said. They said that even the pennies, even the corner stores, they want to keep your penny.
Yes.
Some of them do ask. They be like, "You want your penny? It's mine." Like, right. Yeah, pennies add up. 100 of them gives me $1 that you're not gonna take. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I need for everyone, please just go in and just check your balances. It's easy to hack into your account. Like I said, I got over $100 out of mine that I saw, and I'm so grateful because what's interesting is something said, Mel, just check your balance. I knew I was cool, but just check your balance. I checked my balance. And it was probably 15 minutes when they took it out. And they said the person's name. I don't want to say the person's name because I don't know the person, but I know tons of you lovely people listen to the Shop Talk with Mel show and Let's Shop Talk. So you might know the person in Denver, Colorado. But they reversed it and they corrected the issue. But the problem is people are hacking into the computers. Matter of fact, that's what we're going to do next week. We're going to talk about the hackers. And I'm going to bring in a hacker. An ex-hacker, look, or that knows how to hack into the system. I'll put it that way. He knows how to do it, and he'll tell you all the secrets.
I got a funny story about that one too. All
right, we'll talk about it next week. Save it for next week. Write it down and let's save it for next week. But listen, check your account. Check your account when you get the opportunity. Like I said, it was probably 10 or 15 minutes that it just come out. Mm-hmm. But again, I have my account, my alert set on $1. It might seem, minute to you or menial to you. Please, 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 just set it. Just protect yourself, because this is a time where a lot of people aren't working, and some are. And also, I want to put this information out there for the PUAs. Yes, you're gonna have to pay those back. You have to show proof of what you spent your money on. If you don't have proof, you're gonna have to pay it back, and I'm sure they're gonna kill you on the interest rates of having to pay them back. For those loans of the small business, when you have a loan, a small business loan, check out the interest rate on those to see how much you'll have to pay back. There's people like, okay, let's say for instance, somebody got a PUA and they said for $44,000 for the 2 months, that they were shut down. And then they included, to get that amount, they included their employees to pay their employees. And then you don't pay your employees. Then your employees, they file their taxes. When they file their taxes, they don't put that money in, because guess what? Said employer did not pay them. Okay? I got air quotes. Said employer did not pay them. Employer kept the whole $44,000. Now, keeping that entire $44,000, and then the employee files taxes, the employee is the one that get hit, because it's going to show that, oh, you didn't claim this amount of money. Sir, I didn't get that. And it's going to revert back to the employer. But guess what? Your tax is going to be hung up. And a lot of people they're not doing their taxes by paper anymore. They're just like doing it by, e-file or whatever you want to call it. And then watch them watch them. I was getting ready to say the name. Watch those places that you go to file your taxes. Watch those people that you're with, because you have to remember they are people too. They are people too. And them being people, they might be a criminal. Hard times calls for hard and desperate measures. So be careful. I told you, somebody I went to school with, my girl, I didn't know that she was going, I was proud of her being the bank manager, but I didn't know she was going to be robbing folk. Like, what in the world? How do you do that? You're just going to straight up rob somebody.
Short and sexy eyes, very tight, grasping eyes, long and slinky step with grace, much elegance of magnificent taste. This segment has been brought to you by 5 Grands Boutique, 164 High Street, Northeast, Warren, Ohio, 44481. Their telephone.
All right, y'all heard it, 5 Grand Fashions. Thank you for sponsoring today's Shop Talk with Mel segment. I love me some 5 Grand, and I do get a lot of my pieces from 5 Grands Boutique Fashions, and it's 5grandsboutique.com. So visit the website. Small business. People are shopping locally after this COVID, so I'm happy about that. Please, 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 please be safe. COVID is not over. It is still going on. And we got a new president. That don't mean go out and be like, yeah, we done. No, even though some people feel as though, I'm using air quotes allegedly, that he is the virus. But that's a seated one. Understand this. And who you vote for is your business. That's okay. But what I did, and I'm going to put this out here too. I am happy that he was the president. Why? Mel, you happy that President Trump was the president? Yes, because he revealed so much. I don't think that we would have known how many people feel as though they say they don't, but they know white privilege. They're coming out. They were being boisterous. Like, he allowed them to be boisterous. There was a guy that told me, I think he forgot I was Black. I had 2 incidences. I ain't lying. I'm at work. We sitting there, we chilling, boom, we at work. And this guy says to me, he said, he was like, you're the way that you are here. And then when you go home, you can act Black. This was a white guy. He said this to me. He said, you can act Black. And so I looked at him. I said, see, okay. So to the listening audience, Nick is looking like, huh? She's puzzled. The question mark. So I looked at him in true male fashion. Okay. I said, what is acting Black? Can you give me a description? Mm-hmm. He couldn't give me a description. I said, and then he looked, he was like, I don't know the description, because I can talk to anybody, He said, I can't give you a description. I said, help me. I said, because I don't know what acting Black is. I'm pretty consistent. The way I am at work, the way I am at home, it's just me. You know what I mean? I'm pretty consistent. But for him to say, I said, do you mean let your hair down or what? Because I'm trying to help the white brother out. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't, he was like, what is it? I said, hood, ghetto? Like, help me understand what category is a color in. You know what I mean? Not a race, a color. Black is a color. So what is acting white? I don't know. We had a segment on that. What is talking white? How about just correct grammar? Well, let's just do that. But he said that.
White, Black, yellow, Chinese, Japanese, I don't care what color, what race. It's called proper grammar, number 1. Number 2, anybody,
but what is
ghetto,
but what is
color can
acting? What is acting Black? If you guys could give me a description, I would be fine. But his eyes was like 50-cent pieces, you know what I mean? And then there was an incident that happened 2 weeks ago. That's why I said, kudos, I'm happy Trump was in, because then these people can actually say exactly how they feel. This is what the young lady said at work again. And I love my job. And she said, she was like, this is what she said. They get to choose their schedule of whatever time they come in. Talking about the boss, I'm not gonna say her name to protect her. She said, she's just scared of them because they're Black. Now, mind you, she was talking to me. It was only her and I that was there. So then I had to go to her, and I'm gonna leave her name, just protect her, leave her name out. And I said, do you have a mirror? And she was like, I don't even have a mirror. She's like, what's going on? I said, because I don't know if you noticed, but I'm black. Like, did you forget? She was like, I'm black. Like, let me get a mirror. Like, what happened here? Did I switch roles? What is going on up in here? I was like, these people. But the other guy, when he mentioned it, it was just the other day. Because he asked me how long did I think it was going to take for the election. And then we started, just conversing. And we had a good conversation, but people just get so relaxed. But I was happy that they were able to tell me their true feelings and how they felt. Did I think it was a racist comment? I did after, but I don't think that he realized it until his eyes looked like 50 cent pieces. And I asked him, give me a description of acting black. I'm consistent. It is, look, what you see is what you get. Now, at the house, I might burp or something, you know what I'm saying? We always remember that, I might not burp at the job, publicly.
Unlike them, burp, fart, and everything else.
Alleged. I say alleged to protect Shoptalkwithmel. That's Nick again. But yeah, at the house, I'm chilling, but I'm pretty consistent. And I say what I mean, and I mean exactly what I say. All right, lovely people, I thank you. Visit Dr. Kamilah Marie on pivotandbloom.com. She is a physician, she's a mother, and she's a radio personality, okay? And her purpose is to provide her tribe with health literacy to rebuild their temple. So to rebuild your temple. And her motto is change, flourish, repeat. So check her podcast out, lovely people. Check them out. Check her podcast out. Check her past segments out. You started and you said June?
Uh-huh.
All right, she started in June. Let's do this. Let's unite. Let's get together. Girl power. You know what it is. Find you, embrace you, and always, always love you. Until next week, people. Shoptalk right here on the new Spreaker with an R. I don't have a speech impediment. Spreaker.com. I got sound effects and everything. Come on, join in. And like on all socials. And if you're interested in sponsoring or donating to the show, to the platform, feel free to do so. The information is located below. You can catch all of the Shop Talk with Mel shows on the YouTube because I upload that. You hear that siren. That siren says it's 12 o'clock. And I also have, let me see, Be Inspired's on there too. You hear it? Do you hear it? Is that the 12 o'clock siren, or is that something to celebrate about because we have a new president? All right, lovely people, that's my time. I appreciate you.